In the last video, I mentioned that I still had a lot of work to be done for the exterior components, specifically all of the carbon fiber decals that need to be applied. I asked you guys if you wanted to see the process. I've shown this a couple of times before, but every time the comments seem to be overwhelmingly positive that you do want to see more of this process. So here we go once more. All of the parts were firstly sanded to prepare them for the paintwork later on, and then I moved on to creating all of the templates for the different carbon fiber decals on each component. I just put a piece of tape on the part, or sometimes multiple pieces of tape, and outline it with a marker what size it needs to be, and also mark on the masking tape itself which direction the carbon fiber weave needs to be as well. With all of the parts now sanded and prepped for primer and paint, and also templated out with a lot of the masking tape and marker, I could move on to priming them and then painting them as well. Since these parts are resin, I'm not using Zero Paints primer, as that is used for plastic. In this case, I'm just using some Tamiya gray surface primer. This is good for both plastic, metal, and in this case also resin. A couple light coats were applied, I let that sit and cure, and then moved on to painting all of the parts in a metallic black. After applying a couple coats of black, I let the parts sit and cure overnight before I started applying the decals. The templates that I made earlier on were now transferred onto the carbon fiber decal. The decal that I'm using is from Scale Production and available on their website. As you can see, I'm marked on the masking tape itself which direction it needs to be for the carbon fiber weave, and of course matched that when I stuck the masking tape onto the decal, then carefully started cutting them out one by one, putting them into some water, adding some decal setting solution on the parts, carefully placing the decal, and then using some softening solution later on and a hairdryer to heat the parts up to speed up the process and start forming all of the decals to shape. Now, as I mentioned, I've done this a couple of times before. I've made a couple of videos on this process as well, so if you're interested in more of this, feel free to check out my channel, specifically the how-to section. There are a couple of videos on decal application and also the carbon fiber process as well. So for now, I'm just going to leave you to it, as it's a pretty big time lapse on all of the components that I covered in carbon fiber. Now, I'm not done yet with all of the parts, but this is what I've got done so far, and next week I'll move on to the final pieces and then hopefully also finish this build off. So that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time.